Well, hey there, it's Catherine. In today's video, we are going to make a card using the Beautifully Used stamp set. I'm going to do a little bit of watercoloring. So usually when I do that, I heat emboss my images first. So if you've been hanging around me a while, you know that Wow embossing powder is my favorite, and I love it because it has an anti-static agent built in. You don't need to use a deactivator tool or one of those little pouches to wipe your cardstock down to remove the static. You just stamp, emboss, and go. That anti-static is built in, so it's not going to stick to places all over your cardstock. As long as you keep it in the original container, you should be good to go. If you put it into another container, like a lot of people like to do, it might pick up static from that container. So just want to be careful of that. The people at Wow are awesome. I've met them several times at Creativation and they are hilarious. And they taught me all about the ins and outs of the embossing powder. So hopefully sharing it with you will help you be successful on your projects. And something really exciting, we are actually adding the Wow embossing powder to our store. We have picked out a basic palette of powders that I love. So from black to silver to gold to white to clear and a couple sparkles, we're going to have you covered for a lot of card making projects. If there's a particular powder that you love that you don't see in our store, drop us a note and let us know. So with that, let's go ahead and start stamping. So this video today is for you gals out there that are not expert watercolorists like me. I love this stamp set. I think it's great for those of you that are expert watercolorists. And if you head over to my blog, if you haven't been there already, I'm going to put a link to a video that one of our design team members did, or not a video, but a card post. She, Lydia Evans, did a card with some pencils, and it was just an amazing piece of artwork. It knocked my socks off. You guys gotta see it. So that is for you expert gals, and me, not an expert, but I still have fun with all of these fabulous stamps, so that's what's important, right? So I'm just gonna stamp a few of them, and I'm just adding some white embossing powder. I have a little baby wipe here, so I'll just clean my stamp off. And you may notice I'm doing the white ink and then the white embossing powder. I want my flowers to be really super white. The white is a pigment ink, so it stays wet for a while and it will hold on to that embossing powder. We'll do a few leaves. So I'm grabbing my hand embossing tool, and I will heat this. It'll just take a minute. I just hold it in the light and watch for that powder to turn shiny, and then I know it's ready. So next thing I'm going to do is make a little color palette for myself. So I'm just going to take my ink pads, I'm going to dip them onto my craft mat. So we have Flirty Fuchsia, Tutti Frutti, Tiara, Aquatini. We'll do Grass Skirt and Lime Ricky for the leaves, and then It's a Girl. I may add to this once I get moving. Now I need to work with a lot of water here because, like I said, I'm not the greatest watercolorist. So I usually rely on the water to do the work. So I'm just going to add some water directly onto my paper, make sure my paintbrush is fairly clean. It has leftover Flirty Fuchsia on it from my last project. I'm going to grab some It's a Girl and just start dabbing on some color. And this is really super light. I think I'm going to bring maybe a little bit of pixie dust into it also. Pinky purple flower. Pinky purple flower, yeah. And you can see the white embossing is resisting the ink so it stands out. All right, next I'm going to move on to the leaves. I have a little pool of water going. I'm just going to paint inside the leaves, and then we'll pick up Lime Ricky first. And then a little bit of Grass Skirt, and kind of let that work in where it wants to without using too much effort. Just kind of let it go where it wants. Paint it in with water, and then I'm going to pick up some Tutti Frutti. Now the shading is a little dark for what I've got going on with the big flower, so I may tone this down a little. Just kind of use my baby wipe and lift up a little bit of the color. I'll move on to the next, and I think I'll use Flirty Fuchsia in here. Just kind of dabbing my brush inside the embossed areas. I think I'm going to do Tiara with maybe some Tutti Frutti on the inside. You know, I have one more flower over here, and I think a color we're missing is a blue, so we'll use the Aquatini, and we'll just kind of drop in some color. So as I'm looking at this, I'm feeling like there's a lot of open white space, so I want to color that. So I'm just going to drop in some water. I'm not trying to fill the space completely. And then I'm going to use It's a Boy, which is a really light blue, and I think you guys can't see that. There's my little palette, and I'm just going to drop in a really light wash of blue around the flowers. And then around the edges, like where there's no flowers anymore, I want this to fade out gradually to white. So I'm just kind of trying to get color off my paintbrush over here so that I can bring it in over here and kind of fade it out. I'm going to make a background accent piece for the card. I'm going to use the peppermint stripe background stamp. I'm just inking it up with It's a Boy, and then I'm going to take my white cardstock, lay it on top. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of computer paper. I'm just going to rub it, and this will help get a good transfer of ink without getting my fingers messy. So this peppermint stick stamp obviously looks amazing as a Christmas stamp, but after the holidays I've been using it on all types of cards. I really love it when I do black and white stripes, but look at how awesome these light blue stripes look. I love that. So I use my Spot On sentiment dies, and I die cut Wishes out of black, and I'm going to add it to the front of the card. So then I want to finish off my greeting, so I went to my stamp stash and I found the Hello World, and it has this fabulous birthday. So I'm going to use this birthday right from here. It's just a straight up and down sentiment, so it goes great with a script. So I could just stamp it right on, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use our Midnight black ink. I'm just going to give a very light love tap. I'm barely touching this ink pad. If I push down too hard, these are foam ink pads, so it's going to sink into that pad. You're going to get black ink all over, but if you just do a light tap, you get perfect inking and a perfect sentiment. I'm just going to grab my paper cutter and trim that. I added some dimensional adhesive to the back of my layer, and I'm just going to add it to my card front. I think I'm just going to add a little banner end into this. So I'm just going to snip. My cutter bee scissors work a little better at that. They have a really nice fine tip at the end. I'm just going to cut that banner end, add a little adhesive, and I'm done. I actually ended up moving the sentiment up a little bit and adding on some sequins. So here is our final card. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. Be sure to head over to my blog and see up close photos, and also you can hop on my newsletter list over there. Hope I see you over there. I will see you soon.